first time the room even quiets before I begin. I think everybody must be pretty excited to be here today. In fact, this is a day that the sun decided that it remembered North Carolina, and I think it's shining very brightly here today. Good afternoon. My name is Carol Folt. I'm the Chancellor at UNC-Chapel Hill, and I'm so pleased to be with all of you and have you join us under these beautiful blue skies in this wonderful Marsico Hall for a truly momentous celebration. Right after I received the tweet this morning about the Nobel Prize, the first email I received was from President Broadhead from Duke. And in his wonderful, gracious way, he was writing to say congratulations to Professor Sancar and to all the colleagues here at UNC-Chapel Hill. So again, we extend the same thanks. He was unable to be here because of a pre-standing he had to do something that he couldn't get out of, but he is here in spirit, and he's represented by colleagues from Duke. I'm going to open with a special story that I think links two very special Carolina researchers. 2 months ago, I had the chance to travel to Stockholm to be part of a UNC-sponsored conference on black holes. I'm sure many of you read about it. It was a gathering of some of the greatest preeminent scientists in theoretical physics from the 20th and 21st century. And while I was there, I had the chance to spend a little bit of time at the Nobel Museum. And one of the really wonderful ways the museum personalizes the Nobel Prize winners is by asking them to sign the bottom of the chairs where they sit in the cafeteria. So, of course, I wanted to see it, and they took me to see the chair where Dr. Smithies had signed, and it was wonderful. I didn't expect that I'm going to have to make a repeat visit to go see another wonderful signature. It was really a very special moment. And of course, today we're celebrating another milestone for not just Carolina and Duke, but for our entire region, and really a celebration of science and the hard work of the individuals that actually do that science. It's a special moment for two very proud institutions, and I think we love the fact that we're connected at this moment because we make history by being connected in history. And I think this is something that we'll all remember as a wonderful way that we see our connection. And it's an honor to have all of you here with us. I'm joined by many people who want to be a part of saying congratulations, but in particular, this is being co-hosted by Dr. Bill Roper, as you all know, the head of UNC School of Medicine and the CEO for the UNC healthcare system. And he'll come up and speak in a few minutes. We're also joined by Dr. Oliver Smithies, as you know, the first UNC Nobel laureate, 2007. Sitting right next to Oliver Smithies is someone who is smiling, and that smile is going to stay for a long time, and that is Dr. Leslie Parisi, who is the chair of UNC's Department of Biochemistry and Biophysics. Leslie, great to have you here. And Dr. Ned Sharpless, the chair of the Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center. Wonderful to have you here. I'm joined on the stage by Dr. Michael Kasten, the executive director of the Duke Cancer Institute, and if I may say, a Carolina graduate. And of course, the person that we're most excited to hear from today, Carolina's latest Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Aziz Sancar. Dr. Sancar's wife, Gwen Sancar, is also here with us today, his colleague in the same department. It's great to have you here. We're joined on the telephone today by Professor of Biochemistry, Duke School of Medicine, member of the Duke Cancer Institute, and another Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Paul Modrich. Make it loud for the phone. And of course, we're also celebrating Dr. Thomas Lindahl of Sweden, the Emeritus Group Leader at the Francis Crick Institute and Emeritus Director of Cancer Research at UK at Clare Hall Laboratory in Britain. I also see a room, yes, of course, thank you. I know I'm looking out at a room of researchers who are here with us today, and so I don't want to let this moment pass without really taking stock on what it means to be a researcher and to do the type of work that you do every day. You come into your laboratories, you think about this work, and as you'll see in a moment, some of you start doing work as with incredible commitment and hard work. So we thank all of the researchers that are here today. This is really an honor of all your work as well. The three that we're celebrating today earned this award for their work on mapping the cellular mechanisms that underlie DNA repair. And I'm speaking to a room of people that probably understand that damage to DNA occurs every second of every day. And it's something that happens from outside forces. It can be from things like UV radiation, but it can come from many other environmental factors. And the real mystery is, how do we even survive that type of onslaught? So in particular, Dr. Sancar mapped what is called nucleotide excision repair. It's hard to really say this in front of the person that actually did this. So I think he'll forgive me if I say it incorrectly. But this mechanism is vital to repairing damage due to UVA. Oh my goodness. Sorry, UVA. To UV radiation. When that repair system is defective, of course, people that are exposed to sunlight can also develop skin cancer. He and his colleagues also showed that there are DNA damage that can result in cancer, and of course this affects millions and millions of lives. Kenan in his lab tells you, he said that I asked if they were, but recently they accomplished work, and I think this is that Endeavor meet, so we're so proud to be a part of it. There was a new tradition started when Oliver Smithies received the Nobel Prize, and I was talking to Dr. Sanjay this morning, and I said, oh, you know, the Nobel Prize was great. I'm sure you were really excited to get this, but I've got even better news. You have a lifetime free parking pass at UNC. So I thought that was pretty good, right? And then he laughed and he said, well, I have an even bigger surprise for you. I don't drive. But I'm hoping Gwen can use it. I think we'll find a use for that. But we're going to be doing an honoring of Dr. Sancar at University Day celebration on Monday at 11 at Memorial Hall, so we hope many of you will join us again. It's one more reason for our university and our campus to be really celebrating. I also do want to mention that even this week, 3 members of the department also people, which was our great.
I don't know what to say. And also by contribution of my wife, Curran, with whom we worked approximately 15 years together in my early career here at UNC. Last but not the least, I would like to acknowledge my mentor who introduced me to the field of DNA repair, Dr. Stan Rupert. This morning when I learned of the award, Gwen, of course, knew before I did. She got the phone call, and after learning of the award, I called my goddaughter, Rose Pfeiffer, and woke her up. She doesn't wake up till 9 a.m. usually. She wasn't too impressed, but nevertheless, she was graceful. And the person I informed was, which I had done, like I said, in collaboration with that have joined the lab. really, that's all I want to say about this, except and also to recognize Paul Modrich. He's been an outstanding colleague and friend over the years, and actually, he may not know this, even though we all hate Duke. I have been nominating him for the last, I would say, 10 years for the Nobel Prize. So I was expecting Paul as well to get it. So I'm really very honored and overwhelmed by this award and by the appreciation that I've gotten by the university and by the support that the UNC has given me. When Chancellor Folt called me this morning to congratulate me, I told her that when I applied for jobs, UNC was the only place that offered me position, and Mary Ellen Jones was the only one who would accept husband and wife for faculty position at UNC and the entire South. And so Dr. Jones has played an important role in my career and my being at this point. So I'm very grateful to all of you and to University of North Carolina that had made possible for me. Lastly, I would like to make this point. I come from Turkey. From a small border town near the Syrian border, and you are all aware of the tragedy that is happening in that part of the world. So I hope that we all work towards peaceful solution, scientific approaches to our problems, rather than concentrating on things that divides us and causing these tremendous tragedies in the world, and especially in the part of the world that I come from. Thank you all very much.
It's an honor to turn the podium over.
Hello, everyone. This is a splendid day, not only for our faculty member and our university, but for our partnership with Duke and for science in this region. It's a great day. I leaned over to Oliver when I came in and I said, and then there were two. And she's serious about the parking place. This morning I emailed Paul Godley, who's Vice Dean of the Medical School, and said, get to work on it. We got to produce another parking place. That's for real. Let me again recognize Leslie Parisi, the chair of Biochemistry, Biophysics at Carolina, and Dr. Dick Brennan, her counterpart, who's chair of Biochemistry at Duke. We're delighted that they are working together on some collaborations that we look forward to. And especially want to recognize Laura Lindsay Bolt. Laura, would you stand up? And Christopher Selby. Christopher? They are two longtime collaborators. Let me just ask all members of the Sancar Lab, would you please, Institute led by
This is an extraordinary work at Duke. I couldn't be more proud. It's just fantastic, and it is an example of that we work together a lot with Shelley Earp and Ned Sharpless. The two cancer centers work together a tremendous amount, and there's a lot that we have done and will continue to do. So it's an extraordinary honor to be part of this collaboration. I'm also excited because I happen to work in the field of DNA repair, and to have it recognized in this way is extraordinary because DNA damage causes cancer. DNA damage is used to treat cancer with radiation therapy and chemotherapy, and DNA damage causes the side effects of cancer treatment. You can't get more important for cancer than that. And the three individuals are in understanding nucleotide excision repair, such as that induced by sunlight exposure, and of course Professor Modrich, who has made extraordinary contributions in our understanding of mismatch repair, which is damage that occurs as cells go through their normal replication. They've been extraordinary colleagues and scientists, and in addition to their contributions, they're also wonderful human beings. So it's So wonderful to see great science with great humanity combined in these three individuals, and we couldn't be more proud. So I understand that Professor Modrich is on the phone and will join us. And Paul, I'd like to congratulate you and say how proud we are to have you join the litany of
I just haven't had a clear remarks. I really wasn't sure it was going to happen. Like Aziz said, I've been students and postdoctoral fellows who were responsible for much of the work acknowledged by this award. I also want to thank the Department of Biochemistry at Duke for making a scientific home for me. I'm not sure I would have succeeded if it were not for other members and friends in the department, and I thank them heartily. I also want to acknowledge the people that taught me to be a scientist. Bob Lehman at Stanford, who was my PhD mentor, Charles Richardson at Harvard Medical School, my postdoc with, terrific scientists, and I learned a great deal from our friends, and I hold Nobel Committee for acknowledging our work.
Thank you to everyone for coming. Oh boy, less than 2. We've got global, we've got triangle, we've got science, we've got impact, we've got humanity. It's all going on today. So have a wonderful day, and thank you, and congratulations again to our prize winners.
Good afternoon. I'm Joel Curran, Vice Chancellor of Communications at the University of North Carolina, and I want to, anyone here is welcome to listen in on the question and answer, but it's intended for our working journalists today. So I'm going to ask any journalist who has a question, please raise your hand. I'll call on you, identify your outlet, and then who you would like the question directed to. If you have a follow-up, I'd ask you to make sure that we don't have any other questions before you get the follow-up, and then I'll come back to you for that. So I believe most of you are seated, and if there's anybody who's behind the seated journalist who is working but also doing two jobs, make sure I see your hands and we'll call on you. So I'll ask first question. Anyone? Yes, back row.
Dave Witt with UNC Radio. Dr. Sancar, can you talk a little bit more about your professional and personal relationship with Dr. Modrich?
Thank you. I will attempt to repeat the question. I believe the question from WUNC Radio is the relationship that Dr. Sancar has with Dr. Modrich. Yeah, okay.
Dr. Modrich and I work on two different repair mechanisms, so it has not been a collaborative research, but we have benefited from one another's technical developments, and we have discussed one another's research. There has been 2 or 3 occasions that we have collaborated because all the repair pathways eventually communicate with one another. So we have published, I believe, 3 papers together, but other than that, our research has been independent. So these are the recognition is not for one research topic, for different research subjects. But Paul has been a very close friend from since I joined UNC 33 years ago.
Sandra, will you stay close by? Yes, back row.
Brian Henson, WRAL News. Congratulations on this honor. I have a very basic question for you. That is, what so inspired you to dedicate your life to studying DNA repair? Why this field of study?
So the question is, what inspired you to do this work? Why this field of study?
In Turkey, you go to medical school straight out of high school. So out of high school, I went to medical school not knowing much about science or medicine. And in my second year of medical school, I was exposed to biochemistry, and I learned about DNA, and I thought it was a very fascinating subject. And at that point, I decided that even though I was going to go through medical school, eventually I would do research on DNA. And after finishing medical school, I practiced for 2 years as a village doctor in Turkey, and then I came to the United States to work on DNA, but not knowing exactly what aspect of DNA. And I was very fortunate to end up in the laboratory of the scientist who discovered DNA repair, Dr. Stan Rupert. From there on, I was hooked on DNA repair.
And what do you hope comes of your research, of fellow scientists' research in the years, the decades to come?
There is no doubt it will contribute to, it does contribute at present to prevention of cancer. For example, cigarette smoke is the major cause of lung cancer. And it is the knowledge of DNA repair that made it clear that cigarette smoke damages DNA, and that's why it causes cancer, and that's why there has been a great reduction in smoking in this country as well as in other countries. That's in same thing for sunlight-induced skin cancer. Again, it's caused by DNA damage, and DNA repair studies have shown that if you prevent that, you reduce skin cancer. Finally, like Chancellor Folt mentioned, many DNA damaging agents, anti-cancer agents, work by damaging the DNA of cancer cells. So we hope our work on DNA repair will help make the cancer treatment more efficient and more selective.
Quickly, I want to get the news. Now that you won the Nobel Prize, what's the next step in your research?
We are actually we were in the news last May in developing this new technology of mapping DNA repair at very high resolution, which may make it possible to have individualized medicine in DNA repair. And so this morning actually we presenting our work on this subject, and we're preparing for 10. So we are
Sort of any ideas of how this specific research might get fast-tracked into the bench to bedside, have that process happen.
I concentrate on the basic research. Over the years, we have made some attempts to do translation research. Actually, in addition to my DNA repair work, I've also contributed in the area of the circadian clock. And through that contribution, UNC has gotten a sizable patent on clock-disrupted mice, and for a number of years I was consultant to Sanofi Labo on this aspect, because the circadian clock is important for human health in general, specifically sleep and psychiatric disorders, as well as cancer treatment. So there is translation aspect of it, but personally, currently, at present, I'm not pursuing it.
Let me take this invitation just to say, as your question implies, Jason, there's important work underway to do translational research, It's here at our campus and at Duke, we have large and I think successful clinical translational science projects funded by the NIH. There's great interest from the federal government through the NIH in translational research. But I would just say today's Nobel Prize announcement indicates the importance of doing fundamental biomedical research that is not targeted in a particular area, because this amazing set of discoveries came about not because someone knew the end from the beginning, but because scientists were doing their wonderful work. So we congratulate them for that.
We have time for one more question. Jane? So the question is, what does this mean for the triangle, for the region? And I think she's directing it to.
Why don't we have Dr. Sancar talk about what it means for his lab, and then I'll chime in after
Right.
that.
Great
That's
idea.
a pretty big one.
Our lab currently working feverishly to finish a grant for an NIH for funding, and I hope when our grant goes for review, this will influence the review. So I think that's how it will help us. Thank you.
I also know that Dr. Sancar's wife's been wanting him to take a vacation, but he said he's too busy. So I think this gets you a little closer to Stockholm for a vacation, too. Of course, it's a wonderful day, Jane. I think we're all really excited. And as I said before, we love the fact that we're sharing it with our colleagues at Duke, because we talk so much about the $2.5 billion of research that comes through not just these two institutions, but also NC State and other institutions right here in the Triangle. And that work is of immense value, and it isn't all going to have immediate effects. It's invested in over a long time, and sometimes they come to fruition right away. Sometimes it's a graduate student all the way up to a fully functioning lab before you see the results. But I think it reminds us all what's actually happening in this very special place and why we work so hard to keep it all going.
Bill, Dr. Caston?
I would like to answer the first question about translation and then answer this one as well. So, because I'll speak to Dr. Modrich's discovery, and because that does have a direct translational implication. So, the type of repair that he studied, mismatch repair, and he ended up identifying genes that are involved in various types of mismatch repair that turned out to be genes that cause cancer in humans, colon cancers and uterine cancers that are inherited in families. So the basic discoveries of the repair processes led to identification of these genes, so now we can identify families that are at risk for colon cancer. So I think even though it's strong basic science, it also has immediate implications on our patients. In terms of the implications for the triangle, I think everyone knows that great universities are built on great faculty. And we recruit great faculty by having a great environment. And part of the great environment of the triangle is having these great universities together. Frequently we're recruiting spouses that both work in science or medicine or various aspects of university life. It's great having both universities together to be able to recruit. When we're able to say, well, we have 4 Nobel Prizes and 2 Lasker Awards and X number of prizes, that's what's done in this area, then it's much easier to recruit. So it's great for the triangle, it's great for the universities, but more importantly, it's great for our patients.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming today, especially for the honor of recognizing our Nobel winner and our Dr. Modrich from Duke as well. Thank you for making that possible. If you have any additional questions, you can direct those to either the UNC News Office or to the Duke News Office. I want to thank everybody who pulled us together today, including our colleagues from Duke, Michael Schoenfeld, who's here from the Duke University media team, and all the university events team who pulled us together. Thanks to all of our journalists for coming. Thank you all for participating. we have a great afternoon. Thanks.